Wall Street Memes Casino,
I'm fine.
and Sportsbook.
Andrew McCART, IFL TV. I'm out here in Saudi Arabia and delighted to be joined by Super Dow, as I saw on your Instagram, Darren Barker and Matthew Macklin. The fight that never happened.
Hold on a minute. Hold on. There's a lot of money flying around here. There's a lot.
Okay.
We can orchestrate something and we can get in on the action.
Well, listen, I'm all about the views, so do something.
Yeah, I know. Never happened. It was unfortunate, but yeah.
Okay, here's a question, and let's try and get something going then. Who would have won? I'll start with you, Matt. Who would have won?
We'll both say each other, wouldn't we?
Well, look, it's one of those, isn't it? I think at the time, when you're fighting, you believe you can beat anyone. Otherwise, what are you doing? Do you know what I mean? But the reality is, we'll never know.
I was better than him. Here we go. No.
Listen, obviously we know money talks, but would there be any amount of money that would probably get used out of retirement to have? We know these guys have come out of retirement before. There's YouTube fights now. There's 6-ounce gloves, head guards. Would there be anything to entice you back?
I tell you now, I couldn't think of anything worse than going through. Like, imagine having to do a 10, 12-week training. I mean, I need 20 weeks to get fit, but no, I'm too content now. I'm a softie. I just couldn't do it.
Matt, what weight would it be at right now? If you were to fight, what weight would it be at? So was it middleweight last time? Would it have been?
I'm probably weighing less now than what I was weighing in between fights when I was boxing. I think when you've dieted down to make weight, you overindulge then when you can. Well, I did anyway. Do you know what I mean? Where now you retire, you have your little blowout for a few months, then it's just kind of balanced out. But
I weighed myself yesterday. I was 81. I was 81.3 or 4.
Yeah, I kind of hover around that.
If I had to say, I don't know, someone offered me 10 mil, probably super middle. What's that? 75 kilos. 76. Yeah, so that'd be that.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, you're both looking in good shape anyway. But should we talk why we're here in Saudi? It's not about used to, even though I want it to be about used to. Joshua and Ngannou. I saw like Joshua and Ngannou in the pads yesterday, smashing that body shield, and we saw a little bit more from him than we did Anthony Josh. But we can't take much from these media workouts, can we?
No, look, what you can take from he's a big lump, isn't he? See the size of his legs, his back, he's a physical specimen, and he obviously hits hard because those punches weren't travelling too far, and the coach wearing the body pad was moving, and you could hear the thud off the shots. Look, I don't know, John Fury said yesterday that Tyson said to him, even though it was a flash-ish knockdown, he said the weight of the shot shocked him.
Do you feel the same, Dan? Obviously, the media workout, we don't see too much from that, but we know the last couple of times with these Saudi trips, there's been animosity. We saw Joshua last time out in the Day of Reckoning. He said in Coogan's interview that he had like 5 of his enemies there. That's why he was more not wanting to do the media workout. He's more like one answered when he was asked questions. He was just giving that single word answer. But now he seems to be a bit more, I don't know, fun. He seems happy. He seems more relaxed.
Look, for me, this is one for the romantic. If I'm honest, if you like a narrative, you like a storyline, then you've only got to look at Ngannou's, and you get brought in by that. And don't get me wrong, I know he's an absolute physical specimen. He's got a great chin, and he carries a lot of power. But when you break it down, and you've got to have to think logically, there's kind of not many ways that Anthony Joshua can lose this fight and shouldn't lose this fight. I mean, if he keeps things simple, to reference the Tyson Fury fight. If you got somebody off the street who didn't really know anything about boxing, certainly didn't know Tyson Fury or Ngannou, and you said, watch this fight, tell me who the novice is here, I think a lot would say Fury. The mistakes he was making, and he presented a lot of openings for Ngannou to capitalise on. I think the way AJ fights, and certainly fights now, he's not going to offer the same sort of openings. So when you bear that all in mind,
when you're out of shape, and you come back into the gym and you've actually been training for a few weeks to get a bit of fitness up, and you start sparring. I don't know about Darren, but my first couple of weeks sparring, I was all over the place. I was, when you're up there, timing, distance, all over the place. And Fury looked terrible in that fight. Tyson Fury's a great fighter, but on that night against Ngannou, that version of Fury was terrible. Look, Anthony Joshua, we know he's a massive puncher in Ngannou, but Anthony Joshua should win with relative ease, as long as he approaches it knowing that Ngannou's a threat. And I think Fury. Listen, I think we can forgive Fury for thinking he just had to go out there and bang him out, because I think everyone thought that.
Yeah.
Obviously, AJ's not going to look, he's going to, whatever possibility there was going to be of him being complacent or looking past it. Maybe if he'd have gone first, he would have.
But he has that fight. He has that fight now to watch, doesn't he?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, and also he has that fight with Fury. He can look at it. Yeah. Ben Davison, Lee Wiley, they can look at that fight. I know there's only one fight.
Is 10 rounds enough, Dan?
10 rounds.
10 rounds of footage, is that enough to really understand Ngannou's approach to the game?
But it's something. It's something. Like, I've taken some takeaways from that. Every time Fury threw a right hand and Ngannou leant back. So straight away, if you're Ben Davison, you're AJ and you watch that fight, you double jab right hand, you bring your feet in straight away. I don't think we're going to see too many differences in Ngannou. But look, it's a fascinating occasion. One, because of what happened in that Fury fight. Two, because of that narrative, the story behind Ngannou is incredible. There's a film in it already. This right here could be the sequel. Could you imagine he was to win? But the event itself, it's incredible to be here. We were just talking about the old days, and to both be here now and seeing how boxing has gone from this, has gone to another stratosphere. It's remarkable, and it's so, I'm so proud to be a part of it.
Can I ask you this question then? Obviously, it seems like both men can hit hard. We know that. We've seen the knockouts from both men in the UFC and what Joshua's done in boxing. If either of these men land their best shot, one of them's going to go down. So that's the sense. Is it a case of whoever lands first wins this fight?
And the shot as well that Ngannou dropped Tyson Fury with was the same shot that Ruiz caught AJ with, high on the top of the head, and that started the unravelling of AJ that night. And that's the sort of shot he's going to be looking for. A little bit difficult, I feel. I don't think he's going to crouch down as much, AJ. I think he's going to stay quite tall. But if he does land that shot, there's a very, very good chance that the legs go and something similar happens. But it's just him getting close is what I'm thinking.
It's hard to know how good Ngannou is because of how bad Fury was. Do you know what I mean? Now, look, he's a professional fighter. He's a banger. He's a fighter. He's got all that stuff. And he had fundamental basics were pretty good. They were on point that night. Do you know what I mean? And you'd imagine he's going to be better for this fight because now he's got the experience of those 10 rounds that he had against Tyson Fury. But you are talking about Anthony Joshua, who's only been beaten by the AJ one, which he rematched, and then Usyk,
a master.
And the second Usyk fight was a hell of a fight. So And he's coming off a good win, a good performance. So his confidence with the move to Ben Davison, etc., should be in a good place.
And I like, as well, listening to Ben Davison talk yesterday, he's very, very confident. Switched on and focused and not overlooking Ngannou. But, when he broke it down on air and off air, the way he was describing, I wouldn't say in-depth tactics, but basically, basic tactics. It kind of makes sense. And you mentioned the 10 rounds there. He's only done it once. And I think there's going to be a lot of feints, a lot of foot feints. I think he's going to be quite busy with the singles and double shots, AJ. And I think that will wear Ngannou down the stretch.
Why I love talking to you two is because you're boxing nuts. You know the game inside and out. Now, we all remember, I can't remember it, but I know about it, is when Buster Douglas beat Mike Tyson and the upset that caused, and everybody was like, wow, that's the biggest upset maybe in boxing history. I think Ngannou beats Anthony Joshua. Is that in that stratosphere? Is that almost the same as something like Buster Douglas beat bigger?
Well, Buster Douglas was a very good boxer. Not just a fighter, he was a very, very good boxer.
Olympic gold medalist, wasn't he?
He was a very good amateur and knew how to box, not fight, box. It was a massive upset, but you're talking about a one-bout novice, albeit he lost to the lineal champion. But I can't even fathom,
Same as.
We're not talking about some guy that's had a one-fight novice. We are talking about a UFC guy that can throw punches.
UFC. UFC's MMA. He's not a boxer, is he?
But he can take a shot. We know that he can at least throw punches. He's been in a fight. He knows what it's like to be under pressure, have a cut, deal with his adversary.
Buster Douglas was an Olympic gold medalist. I don't
know why I'm trying to make a case here, but
he was a top 5 contender. Yeah. And don't get me wrong, the hype of Mike Tyson at that time was what made it such a shock, wasn't it? But like Ngannou's had one pro fight.
This is a lot bigger.
Does that added pressure for Joshua then? Because like I said to you at the start of this interview, he seems more relaxed, but it doesn't seem that pressure of losing against Ngannou and being... Yeah.
There is pressure because there's always that what if. And he knows that Ngannou is better than what people thought he was. Look, at the end of the day, whether you thought he won it or he lost it, it was a very close fight with Tyson Fury. He had him over. AJ can't not know that. Yeah. And as much as he thinks, I'm sharp, I haven't looked past it, I'm fit. I'm a two-time world champion. I've only been beaten by 3 people. I avenged the Ruiz one, and the 2 fights with Usyk, like especially the second one, what a fight! You know what I mean? So, like I say, as long as something unforeseen doesn't happen, because there's always something that you didn't think about, he should win easily.
That's why we love about the Saudi, Dan. You've been there, and obviously Matt as well. You've been here. It seems like every fight that happens in Saudi Arabia in this heavyweight division, the landscape is just changing. You know what I mean? Parker beating Wilder. Who thought that would happen? Even Dubois, Jarrell Miller, the shock of Ngannou almost beating Tyson Fury. It seems that the landscape is always changing. So I'm guessing come Friday night, we're not going to just be like, this guy beats this guy, and it's like as simple as that. Something's going to happen.
What happens if Ngannou does win? You talk about the landscape there. Does he fight the winner of Fury Usyk? I mean, I can't even imagine.
I'd say he probably
does. He probably does, yeah. I mean, it's a massive fight if it was to rematch Fury because of what happened in that first fight. He truly believes in Ngannou that he won the fight. I honestly don't think he's just saying it, and lots of people do.
But I tell you another little dynamic. Say AJ absolutely turns Ngannou over, all of a sudden, and then Fury does beat Usyk. All of a sudden, that Fury
massive
AJ fight is going to be
probably
bigger than ever.
Bigger than ever. Yeah.
Let me end this, because I know you've actually got proper work to do and proper cameras and a proper microphone as well. But let me put this to you. You mentioned all these scenarios where Tyson Fury rematching Ngannou and Joshua and whatnot, but they were at Turkey's house last night, His Excellency's house last night. I don't know if you heard of the altercation with Tyson and Ngannou. It seems like Tyson isn't very happy with Ngannou with the words he said, calling him a coward and whatnot. Did you hear about this?
I see a little something posted. I think it may have been from you guys, but they seem to be getting on yesterday.
Do you know what's great when you get older and you retire and that? You lose your ego. Do you know what I mean? And you just got your peace with yourself. But when you're still fighting, you have got your ego and you're sensitive. And if someone says something negative about you, your back gets up, you get defensive, and you fire back. Then they fire back, and something blows up, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I do like that because you cannot be content as a boxer. We're content now. And if Fury wasn't to bite, because we know he does like to bite and likes to get stuck in verbally. You'd worry a little bit. So I'm kind of glad that we are seeing that, because that shows a lot of fire and ambition left in a man that's achieved so much.
Sorry, I've got one more. I'll make this one quick if you give me a quick answer as well. Tyson's going to be ringside for this fight as well, and we talked about mindsets, and everyone goes on about AJ's mindset. I know Carl Froch done his YouTube channel and said he's mentally fragile, I think the words he used. Tyson being ringside for this fight against AJ, what's that going to be like, knowing that this fight that we wanted to see for the past 5-6 years is Tyson Fury and Joshua, and we've seen the landscape change like we've mentioned? What's going through AJ's head knowing that Tyson's sitting ringside watching this fight?
I'd pay a penny for his thoughts if AJ was to absolutely destroy Ngannou, what he would be thinking. Be thinking, wow, because he knows he's no mug. He knows he's a tough cookie. He caught him with some big right hands, albeit he leant back and he took the sting out of the shot. If he was to destroy Ngannou, I'd love to know what he was thinking.
Same as. It's like, you ever see that film Far and Away?
Yes.
With Tom Cruise, and he goes in and he beats. He has that his first fight there, only Tom Cruise, and anyway, that the guy, what's your man's name? The guy who he owns the pub, and I can't think of his name. Colin Meaney, the actor. You hadn't seen this film. So anyway, he owns this place, and Tom Cruise ends up battering this guy, but this guy battered him before that, so he sits down and he goes, you just knocked the piss out of the man that knocked the piss out of me. I don't know how I feel about that.
It's that,
isn't it?
Is that?
That's the perfect way to end this interview, because I can see Addy getting mic'd up, and I'm guessing, Dan, that's you and Macklin's call to get some work done. And as always, I appreciate your time. Appreciate your time, Matthew, and I'll speak to you soon. Cheers, guys. Thank you.
Wall Street Memes Casino
I'm fine.
and Sportsbook.